So we come to the close of a very fruitful 2 days. A number of questions, a lot of engagement. We'd like to welcome back the Minister of ICT, Honorable JP Nsengimana. You missed a very engaging day today, but I'm sure the team will update you on what happened. Just a note, there's evaluation forms that were on your chairs or on your tables. Please do fill those out. You don't have to fill out too much, but it will be very helpful for the organizers, CTO and the Minister of ICT, to get your feedback so that in future they can organize better events. So 2 days of thinking about how government and the private sector can strengthen accountability and transparency through the use of ICT and by engaging citizens in policy making. I think we have learned a lot from thinking about accessibility, for example, the Huduma centers in Kenya, e-government transactional platforms like Rwanda Online here in Rwanda that will go live in the mid this year, as well as social media, how we can use Facebook to interact with citizens, and also a very critical part, which is not leaving out a section of the population, which is people with disabilities, and how can we address their needs as well. So, as we close, allow me to invite our 3 last speakers for this closing ceremony. They have all spoken already, and so I will summarize their bios if you'll allow me to. So our first speaker to give his closing remarks is Vincenzo Acquaro. I hope I said that right. Thank you. Vincenzo Acquaro is the Chief of E-Government Branch, United Nations Public Administration Network, Department of Economic and Social Affairs for the United Nations. He is the Chief of the E-Government Branch, EGB, of the Division for Public Administration and Development Management of the United Nations Department of Economic and Social Affairs. EGB publishes the UN E-Government Survey, conducts capacity building, and provides online training tools for efficient, effective public service delivery based on transparency, accountability, and civic participation. So Vincenzo Acquaro will give the closing remarks. Maybe I'll give the bios of everyone and then one by one? Just the title? Okay. I cannot dispute the Minister of ICT. So after Vincenzo Acquaro, we shall have Professor Tim Unwin, who was just up leading the session, giving a thank you address, and then we shall close off with an official closing note from Honorable Jean-Philbert Nsengimana, who is our Minister of ICT. Vincenzo, the floor is yours. Thank you very much.
Honorable Ministers, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. Before starting my closing remark, on behalf of United Nations Department of Economic and Social Affairs, I would like to thank again the organizer for this high-level forum, and in particular our host, the Minister of Youth and ICT of the Republic of Rwanda and the Secretary General of Commonwealth Telecommunication Organization, for having organized such important event that gave us the inevitable opportunity to debate for 2 days about smart governance as an enabler for a networked governance, and more in specific, how to enhance e-governance for sustainable development. But also, I would like to thank all the speakers and the participants. Without you, this meeting could not be so successful. Over those 2 days, we have heard from you how governments need to undertake a process of transformative change to respond to the complex challenges our societies face today, and more to respond to our citizens. Thus, advanced connected frameworks need to take this process into account, and greater collaboration at the highest levels of government should be encouraged among e-government leaders and senior officials in charge of the public affairs. Commitment to openness, transparency, accountability, and participation, backed by freedom of information provision and the efforts to tackle corruption, are also critical. As part of this strategy, governments need to look at a new embedded mechanism and more structured processes to promote innovation, collaboration, and openness, and to allow for an increased flow of ideas and practices within government at the national level and among countries at the regional and global level. Although there are no one-size-fits-all recipes to innovation and smart governance, as it was presented during these 2 days, there are mechanisms, tools, and good practices that can support and help governments to better respond to citizen needs and aspiration and leapfrog digital divide. Above all, putting in place the policies and the technologies to strengthen capable and effective collaboration, both within the public sector and with relevant actors outside, such as academia, civil society, international organizations, and individual citizens, is the way forward. In addition, effective regional cooperation will help and advance e-government for sustainable development. Regional cooperation, such as South-South cooperation and triangular cooperation, has already proven beneficial in promoting citizen-centric service delivery, in infrastructure and human capital development, all of them essential to progress on e-government readiness and should continue to be pursued. Ladies and gentlemen, governments across the globe need to undertake a process of transformative change for the future we want, and this, in turn, requires that governments to become catalysts for change instead of mere service providers, become facilitators in promoting networked corresponsability among all stakeholders by engaging and empowering commitments to take part in the solution of their own problems. Allow for a competitive rather than monopolistic approach to provision of public goods and services, become entrepreneurial in generating revenues and promoting partnership, result-oriented and customer-driven, proactive instead of reactive, make full use of opportunities afforded by ICTs, e-government and data revolution, such as open data, big data, cloud computing, Internet of Things, learn and enhance capacity building through increased knowledge sharing. Let me iterate once more that these transformative changes entail not only the design and implementation of innovative practices in public governance, but also and more fundamentally, a transformation of government's role, function, institutional framework, and processes. Good governance, therefore, should not only be seen as a single practice, but as a holistic process to transform and reform government through connected governance. To conclude, we, as Division of Public Administration and Development Management from UNDESA, operating in the United Nations Secretariat as a global hub for innovation in public governance, we will continue with our partners to promote and facilitate technical cooperation and knowledge sharing of innovative approaches and practices in good governance, particularly in the area of smart governance for sustainable development. For this reason, we are looking forward to the outcome of this important forum for further possible collaboration with all of you. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Aquaro. Very strong call for governments to catalyze change and not be mere providers of services. Professor Tim, the floor is yours.
Honourable Minister Jean-Philbert Nsenjimana, Ministers and Excellencies, Vincenzo Aquaro from UNDESA, distinguished colleagues, friends old and friends new. The last 2 days have passed far too swiftly. Certainly I would have liked to have had much more time for discussion, but I think I would be even more tired if I had had that, so it's probably just as well that we finish after only 2 days. I very much hope that everybody here has done two things. Firstly, that they have learnt new things, but also that they have enjoyed doing so. Trust lies at the heart of good governance. Trust between citizens and states. Trust between the private sector and the public sector. Trust between individuals. Trusts within communities. The CTO, particularly under my leadership, has tried to make events such as this events where we can speak openly, when we can share things, when we can indeed build those friendships based on trust that are so important to driving forward new initiatives and good ideas. Trust that enables us to turn visions into reality on the ground. And that is what we all have to do. We must stop talking about the rhetoric. We must get those dusty books off the shelves. We must roll our sleeves up and get involved in practical things. Practical things that are going to make this world a better place, that are going to enable communities to trust each other through digital technologies, and that good governance that we've heard so eloquently espoused by Vincenzo will indeed be enabled by ICTs. So my request to each one of you, as I've reiterated at various times over the last 2 days, is go home, act. Do something different from having been here. We have shared good practices. We have learnt a lot, but we must act on them when we return. You don't want to hear long speeches from me anymore. You've heard far too much of me at this event, I think. But I've stepped in for when people haven't been able to be here. But I do want to have 8 groups of people who we must thank. And I think a little round of applause or a big round of applause between each groups is important. First, we owe a phenomenal debt of gratitude to the Honourable Minister and the Ministry of Youth and ICTs, all of the staff who have worked so tirelessly within that organisation to make this event the success that it has been. It is invidious to pick out individuals, but I have no doubt that there are 4 who deserve a special vote of thanks. Didier, Gordon, KH and Happiness. But I would like to... But in so doing, I would like to thank all of the people who've looked after us. Secondly, we must thank all of the speakers, the moderators, and our excellent masters of ceremonies. Thank you for your contributions. Thank you for, by and large, keeping to time. Thank you for inspiring us. And then there is the technical team at the back who provided all of the magnificent audiovisual services and who, many of them, are in a sense students learning their trade. If that is an example of the quality of students that we have in Rwanda, watch out the rest of the world. You are going to make huge inroads. And it wouldn't have been possible without our sponsors. Let me mention them again: 23rd Century Systems, Rwanda Online, Tigo, and Budget as an exhibitor. Thank you so much. We wish to work with you again. And included within that, it's really good to have a partner such as UNDESA. I'm very, very grateful to the contributions that Vincenzo and Alida have made in their opening discussions yesterday, which seems almost a lifetime away. Thank you for all you do, and likewise the other UN bodies, ITU and UNDP, who have been here present. But you've played a special part in bringing this community together, so I'm very grateful. The staff of the hotel, the caterers, the people who've looked after us with the food and coffee, everything has run smoothly. So thank you, Kigali Serena. And the CTO, when some of our professional fellows come to see the CTO, they look at the size we are and they're amazed at just how much we get done. We are a very small team, but we are absolutely committed to serving all of our members and our partners. And on this occasion, I think there are 4 people I'd particularly like to pick out. Especially Robert, who has done a sterling job, but also Melanie, the conference producer, Naushad and Anna back in the office, and Srini with the communications. Robert has done all of this by himself, and I'd like to pay tribute to your good humour, your hard work, and the way in which you just make things happen. So thank you to my team. And finally, Jean Philbert, you know I'd say this, and it's a special vote of thanks. I'd like you to convey our great appreciation to everyone involved in the celebration, the cultural event last night, but particularly the dancers and Teta. So thank you very much. So looking forward, I think there are just 4 things I'd like to say. A reminder that within a week, all of the presentations that people have given us will be up on the CTO website, easy to find under events, past events, and all of the papers, all of our events are there, and it's a rich mine of resources. Secondly, a takeaway for the CTO. I think we have to do still more in sharing good practices and engaging greater international collaboration. And in my last 6 months as Secretary General, you have my word that I will continue to work tirelessly to achieve that. And 2 practical things, I hope I'm not stealing the Minister's thunder, but from the CTO's perspective, we hope very much to work together with you to consider delivering a social media government workshop for Eastern Africa, where we can really thrash out some of the issues that were discussed in what was, for me, one of the liveliest sessions today. I think it's around the realm of social media that many of the questions about governance, about privacy, about the role of the state, the role of civil society come. So you have my word, Minister, that the CTO will support you in that adventure. And also, we look forward, finally, to taking forward, amongst many of our Commonwealth countries, the M-governance model that the UN University has been working with us on. And it would be a pleasure to help, if there is interest here, to do that in Rwanda as well. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, it is the Rwandan people that we must thank. It's the Rwandan people for all they have done in reconstructing their country since 1994. It's the Rwandan people who have driven that agenda forward through the use of ICTs. So they have become a model in how ICTs can truly contribute to reconciliation, to social, economic, political, and cultural development. That owes a huge amount to the championing of President Paul Kagame, but it does also reflect on the way that that vision filters down, and to have such inspirational Rwandan colleagues who have shared their experiences with us today certainly gives me more enthusiasm to go forward, share that vision, and enable other Commonwealth countries to achieve the ambitions that Rwanda has set itself. Thank you, Rwanda. Thank you for being such a beautiful country and having such warm, friendly, and hospitable people.
Thank you, Professor Tim. You're always welcome back to Rwanda. This is your home. I would like to welcome Honorable Minister Tarsis. He has just joined us. You're welcome to the closing ceremony. So your call for action shall be heeded by everyone. I have certainly learned a lot over the past 2 days, and we shall be acting on what we learned. So without further ado, allow me to welcome our Honorable Minister, Jean Philbert Nsengimana, to give. I was welcoming him to the session. Honorable Tarsis, the floor is yours.
I thank you for giving the occasion to speak again, but let's talk in French. Excellence, Monsieur le Ministre de la Jeunesse et des TIC du Rwanda, Mesdames, Messieurs les participants au forum, tout protocole observé, je voudrais exprimer encore une fois mes remerciements et je les adresse d'abord à mon collègue du Rwanda, mais aussi à l'organisation du Commonwealth pour les télécommunications, pour m'avoir invité. Je pense que il s'agissait des thèmes assez intéressants même si je ne suis pas spécialiste des TIC, parce que je vous dirais que je suis de formation juriste. Le secteur me fascine et je pense qu'au regard des différentes présentations qui ont été faites dans ce forum, je peux dire que le Burundi, à travers ma participation, pourra en tirer profit. C'était un agréable plaisir pour moi de rencontrer les différentes personnalités présentes ici, à commencer par mon collègue du Rwanda, mais aussi les différents représentants des institutions qui ont pu participer à ce forum. Encore une fois, je vous remercie et j'exprime au nom du gouvernement burundais notre disponibilité pour continuer à participer dans ce genre de cadre organisé pour la promotion et le développement dans le secteur des TIC. Et je me réjouis de l'expérience constatée au niveau de tous les pays qui sont représentés ici, mais aussi au niveau de notre pays sœur du Rwanda, qui est sur une bonne voie, comme je le disais hier, arrive à un niveau assez avancé dans ce secteur. Et je pense que notre pays a à côté de lui un modèle qu'il y a lieu de suivre. Encore une fois, à tout le monde, je dis merci. Et bon retour chez vous.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. My French is not the greatest, but I can sum up at least the first part. It got a bit confusing halfway, but Honorable Minister was thanking the Commonwealth and the Minister of ICT for inviting him to this event, and he made it clear that Burundi and him are very open to attending more events like this. He also remarked that he learned a lot. He met a lot of people at the event, and yes, Burundi is open to continue participating in these events. I'm sorry, my French is not the greatest. Maybe when the minister comes, he can do more. So last but not least, it's my pleasure to welcome the Minister of Youth and ICT, Honorable Jean-Philbert Nsengimana, to make the closing remarks for this event. Thank you.
Thank you, Aline. Honorable Minister and dear colleague Tarsis, Honorable Gaston, Member of Parliament, Mr. Professor, Tim, and good friend, and distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I don't have a speech to close this forum. I'm simply speechless. I'd like to ask you to give yourselves a round of applause for being champions and crossing the finish line. This was not a sprint, it was a marathon. But congratulations for finishing in such a big number. It is a testimony of the interest that the topics and the speakers and the atmosphere, the quality of everything. So, what do I say in place of a speech? I just want to say three things. One is to thank you, really from deep down in my heart, to thank every one of you and those who are not with us but who've been here and graced this event by their presence in the different categories that Professor Tim Anwen mentioned. Let me again request your favor and give a round of applause to all those who've played a role in producing this event. Secondly, it's about commitment. In the opening remarks yesterday, our team said that let's all decide to come back from Kigali with at least one resolution. Because this is not an ordinary conference where people talk for, where talking becomes an end for itself, in itself. So I'll tell you what I have committed to myself, but I hope that if we gave the opportunity to everyone here, you'd tell us the resolutions that you've made. And as we meet in the next forum, I don't know where it's going to be. Do you have an idea? We are welcome back to Kigali, by the way. We should evaluate ourselves, how much progress we would have achieved against our own targets. This discussion opened our horizons in many ways. One issue that came up very clearly for us during the pre-conference process, the press conference that we held, discussions that we had, one-to-one interactions that we were able to make was around cybersecurity and especially making governance work for the next generation, for our young people. So child online protection emerged as a very important element, and I'm here committing that in partnership with a number of stakeholders, we have agreed to bring another platform for discussion and action in June 11-12 here in Kigali on the issue of child online protection. And some of the early champions, we include Facebook. We have already agreed with them. We include our Minister of Gender and Family Promotion, our National Children's Commission, our UNICEF and UN Women. We thought that would do something around Transform Africa, which we will still do. But I think CTO, you are very welcome to be part of those early birds in having this event in June, to which I all invite you to. And it's something that has been just decided now. Second resolution, we've realized that however much one might have accomplished in driving e-governance, the road ahead is still very long. And we still want to learn about what is it that we can do better, because technology drivers of e-government keep changing. The demand side, which is citizen expectations, they keep shifting. So we really want to remain ahead, and we've agreed with UNDESA that we are going to really take a week or a few days to dig deeper down into these issues and understand better what we can do together. So we've decided that we're going to take this interaction to the next level with the gentleman and the lady here in front of us and the bigger UNDESA community. And we are also going to bring around the same table other players nationally and hopefully also regionally. That's in May. So thank you so much. And my second resolution is that one. So I've made a list of resolutions. You have no idea. We've met with my colleague of Burundi. We've discussed so many issues and things that we can do on bilateral levels. But those were some of my personal resolution. Let me also say that Intel is part of the coalition that we just built to start something on child online protection in Rwanda. Third and finally, I'd like to invite you all again. You've been very good friends, and your presence has been a great honor for us. We are hosting another big event in October, last week, from 26th to 30th. It's called Transform Africa. It's going to be the second edition. Most of you were here 2 years ago. I mean, it's going to be 2 years from that time. It's a year and a half, 2013, when we held the first Transform Africa conference. We had a blessing of having 7 heads of state gracing the event. We hope that this year Transform Africa will be bigger and better. I'd like to extend an open invitation to all of you and your respective organizations to come and join us, not only as participants, but as partners in organizing and producing the event. We haven't freezed the topics, we haven't freezed the list of speakers, we haven't freezed anything except for the date. The topic of Transform Africa is going to be digitizing Africa. We are going to look at what is it that we can digitize in Africa to advance the transformation of this continent. We'll talk about all the issues that we talked about here: healthcare, education, cybersecurity, child online protection, payments, anything that we can apply these new technologies to drive much more rapidly towards the Africa we want. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back in Kigali. Please remain in touch with us. An invitation is going to be coming your way in the coming weeks, and we look forward to welcoming you again in Kigali in October this year. Now, with these few words, let me wish everyone who's not on his way to airport to extend their tickets and stay with us. I'm not wishing you farewell. I wish that you stay with us tonight so that we can re-edit the experience we had last night. We've had so much and good fun with you guys, and we wish to remain with you. But in case you are already on the way to airport, let me wish you a safe flight, wish you the very best, and look forward to remaining in touch as we push this agenda together. Thank you, team, for all the good words. It was not a speech, it's something that went personally to us. The kind remarks with regards to the work that we've done, with regards to the leadership of His Excellency the President, with regards to the drive that we are putting behind the vision, with regards to all our sponsors. You didn't mention the moderator, Aline, so let me vindicate you. Okay. Okay. With regard to everyone who's been with us and helped from far or near making this event successful. And let me say this, because it is expected, that on behalf of the organizers, I have the pleasure to officially declare the CTO e-Government Forum Africa 2015 officially closed.